God of War 2018, or God of War 4, or I've also referred to it as just the first Norse God of War. So this game was absolutely amazing, and I'm going to talk about it in this video and talk about how I just finally played it for the first time there last year, near the end of 2024, and I'm just finally getting to finishing up my video from all my footage I recorded. I looked back through a bunch of my footage I had recorded and I couldn't find anything early on, so I apologize. I played about halfway through the game, and then I took a bit of a break, and I can't find the footage from the first half of the game. So the footage that'll be on in the background is all basically from the second half of the game. But anyways, let's get into this video. Now, as many of you probably know, God of War 2018 is based off of Norse mythology. This is the first game that Santa Monica Studios decided to base off of Norse mythology and get away from, of course, the Greek mythology, where they closed it out pretty well with God of War 3. So they kind of recreated the God of War games a little bit. The gameplay is quite a bit different in God of War 2018 than it was in the old God of War Greek games, but that's not to say it still wouldn't appeal to the same audience. It definitely, I absolutely love the Greek God of War games, and I love this game too. It was absolutely incredible. The gameplay was amazing. It's just a gorgeous looking game, and the story was phenomenal. You get to see a bit of a different Kratos than what we were used to with the Greek God of War games, so it's really, really good though. I'm going to talk about a little bit of everything from the gameplay itself to the story a little bit here, and then also give you guys what my thoughts are on the God of War 2018 and the different direction they took with the Norse mythology versus the Greek mythology games. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about Kratos himself and his son Atreus. So in this game, you get to see Kratos is old and weathered, and he has a son now, Atreus, which he didn't have in the Greek God of War games. And you get to see Kratos is a little bit more, a little bit less reckless than he was. Throughout the game, there's lots of times where he's trying to teach Atreus certain things, especially self-control and also discipline. So Kratos is trying to be a good father figure and teach Atreus to be better than the way he was when he was younger. And of course, throughout the entire game, you hear Kratos is quite hard on Atreus throughout the entire game. Like, there's lots of moments where there's some moments where there's some, heartfelt moments between father and son, but there's also sometimes where Atreus goes gets a little bit bratty and a little bit moody towards Kratos. But yeah, there's a lot of good moments between Kratos and Atreus throughout this whole game, and you get to see a bit of the development of their relationship getting better from start to finish of the game, which was it was a really, really good piece of story for the player yourself playing through the game, just to be able to experience the father and son dynamic, and then getting to a place where they were a lot closer with each other by the end of the game. And you see a lot of heartfelt moments that were really, really cool to play through. Now, they did take a bit of a different route with how they went with the gameplay with this game. It's definitely different than the old Greek God of War games, being the hack and slash where you kind of have a bit of an overhead view of Kratos as you play through the game. This is definitely more of a third-person action adventure type of game. It's not so much a hack and slash as the old Greek God of War games were, but it definitely, just the way that they went about it, Santa Monica Studios, it feels amazing. The handle's really, really good. You can upgrade Kratos' abilities, and honestly, it's got a little bit of RPG elements too, because you have Kratos' armor that you can upgrade and continue to get better, and then, of course, as you end up getting through the game, then you can upgrade Kratos' arsenal as well and his abilities. So it's got a little bit of RPG elements this go around, where the old Greek God of War games had, there was still upgrades to abilities and Kratos' weapons, but not to the extent of this game. So that was really, really cool. It was a good addition, and it made the game feel like you had a little bit more creativity with how you wanted to use Kratos. And then also you had Atreus that you could control as well with his bow and arrow. So You could just mash the square button and get him to shoot enemies with his arrows. It would either stun them or do a little bit of damage too. So you could definitely, there was some cool strategies that you could use with Atreus as well. Now, because this part of the gameplay is playing, I want to talk a little bit about the music, because the music in this game I thought was absolutely amazing. Especially this fight against Baldur and then the final boss fight against Baldur. The music was incredible. It was heroic sounding, and it just kind of gave me shivers down my spine as I was playing through the game. I thought it was amazing. All the music in this game was incredible. They knocked it out of the park with the music in this game, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because in video games, I love a good soundtrack, and especially, if you have a good final boss theme, that is just one to top off the end of the game. Makes it feel that much better when you finally beat it. Now I just want to touch on the story a little bit and the plot. So, of course, you're playing as Kratos. This is many years after Greek Kratos, and he, of course, after taking down Zeus, had escaped from Greece, and he's living a pretty sheltered life. And now he has his, I guess it's his second wife, I believe, because he did have a wife earlier on in his lifetime back in Greece. But his second wife, she ended up passing away, and then his son Atreus is still with him. But basically her last wishes were for her ashes to be spread at the highest peak of the realms. So that is where Kratos and Atreus end up adventuring to. And they end up running into, of course, a few other gods, Norse gods along the way, Baldur being the main villain in this game. And then there's also a couple of brothers that you end up fighting against. And of course, it's not a very easy trip to get to the highest peak of the realms. So that's just a quick little overview of the story of this game. Now, although it is in, of course, the Norse world now, there is still a few, I guess, flashbacks or references to Kratos' time in Greece, which is pretty cool. And I think one of the coolest parts was that Kratos gets the Blades of Chaos back. And that was pretty cool. That was his main weapon in God of War 1. And also, I believe it was in Chains of Olympus as well. I'm not sure about any other games. You guys will have to let me know down below. The only ones I played were the ones on the PSP, God of War 1 and God of War 2 and then God of War 3. So I never played Ascension. And I also, of course, haven't played Ragnarok yet, but I would love to fairly soon here hop into Ragnarok, because I've heard that game is absolutely amazing as well. And after playing this game, it's got me hyped to get into Ragnarok here relatively soon. Now, with the old Greek God of War games, when you beat the games, then there was nothing to do afterwards other than just start a new game, or sometimes you unlock some different, I guess, game modes or different things that you could do, different difficulties and such like that. But with this game, there's actually an after game. You can keep exploring to a few of the different realms once you beat the game. So I did a little bit of it. I can't really speak too much to the after game because I played a little bit of it, but I'm not really a huge guy into playing after games in video games. Once I'm kind of done the main story, then I usually like to move on to something else. I could say the only video games I ever actually play after beating the main story is Pokemon, but that's because there's usually a decent amount of stuff to do in the after game that kind of keeps you engaged. But with this game, the after game I can't really speak to, unfortunately, because I haven't really explored it all that much. But you guys will have to let me know down in the comments below if you guys have played much of the after game in God of War 2018 and what you guys' thoughts was, because I would love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Now, one thing I kind of thought was a little bit cool with God of War 2018 that I just want to touch on a little bit is the fact that they still had QuickTime events or interactive cutscenes, QTEs. They still had those in this game, which they kind of feel like a thing of the past. It kind of makes me feel a little bit old when I think of QuickTime events, because when I think of QuickTime events in video games, I think of all the button mashing you had to do in a lot of the PlayStation 2, GameCube, original Xbox games. Like, seemed like it was kind of a thing of the past and then phased out with the 360 PS3 era, and then hasn't really been in too many of the newer video games coming out. It seems like if there is QuickTime events, there's maybe a tiny little handful of them in a campaign or story mode in new games. So that was what I thought was kind of cool. And it wasn't like they were overwhelming. like they felt in Resident Evil 6, which I just made a video on. They felt like they were a little bit on the pushing too much for that game. There was a lot of QTs, a lot of quick time events, and interactive cutscenes, which, you know, isn't a bad thing. It's just when you are doing them constantly, it gets to feel a little bit exhausting. But I thought there was a good amount, and it was kind of cool. It made it feel like the old God of War games, because the old Greek God of War games, of course, had their fair share of QTs and quick time events. And lastly, before I close out this video and let the ending of the game play out, I just wanted to also talk a little bit about the rumors and rumblings that have been going on. So with 2025 being the, of course, 20-year anniversary of God of War, like the first game came out in 2005. That's just honestly quite mind-blowing to think about, but that game still holds out so well today. I want to make a video on it because I've actually been playing it recently. I beat it on my PlayStation Vita, and then I've been playing it on my PS5 because I do have PlayStation Plus Premium, so I've been playing it, just streaming it, the PS3 HD version. So I'd love to make a video on the first God of War game, just kind of a looking back, retrospective kind of video on that game, because it is just incredible. I'm having an absolute blast playing through the very first God of War game again. It is so well done, holds up so good today, and I definitely want to play through God of War 2 again as well. So with it being the 20th anniversary, there's talks of a remaster coming out for all the Greek God of War games, and I really hope that they do that, because that would be absolutely amazing if they did a remaster of all the Greek God of War games on the PS5. That would be just incredible. It would be really cool to see them do a remake, but of course there would be my worry, and I think a lot of the fans of the God of War series, I think a lot of our worries is the fact that they probably wouldn't be able to be very faithful to the originals. There was a lot of things in the original games that probably wouldn't fly too well in today's day and age, so unfortunately, they would probably, if they decided to ever do a full-on remake, they probably would not be quite the same as we remember. But anyways, as I always do with these videos, I'm going to let the end of the game play out here. So this is the final boss fight against Baldur at the end of the story. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Rain down every agony, every violation imaginable upon you. I will parade your cold body from every corner of every realm and feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell. That is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything. Everything. You were just an animal. Passing on your cruelty and rage, you will never change.
And you do not know me.
I know enough. Does he?
Boy. Listen close. I'm from a land called Sparta. I made a deal with a god that cost me my soul. I killed many who were deserving. And many who were not. I killed my father.
That was your father in hell. Is this what it is to be a god? Is this how it always ends? Sons killing their mothers? Their fathers?
No. We will be the gods we choose to be. Not those who have been. Who I was is not who you be. We must be better.
Well, guess we're the bad guys now.
In her eyes, yes. But she could never make that choice. We should finish this journey while I still have strength.
What are you doing?
I have nothing more to hide.
Can we go now? We're so close. It's your axe. It's Mother. Look. She's arguing with a bunch of giants. She knew giants? That's us. The first time we met the world serpent. But how? And our fight with Baldur. But that just happened. Wait. They knew everything that was going to happen. The dragon in the mountain, the stone mason, all these drawings. This is our story.
No. This is your story.
But what does it all mean?
That I was not the only parent with secrets.
You didn't know. She was a giant. I'm a giant. Why didn't she tell us?
She sent us here, knowing we would find this.
But why not just tell us the truth?
Your mother would have had good reasons. Baldur was never sent to find me. He was tracking her all along, not knowing she was only ashes.
If she had a plan for us, I trust it. Whatever it is. Besides, she hasn't been wrong yet. Come on. We're so close to the end now.
Yes. Yes, we are. son. Goodbye, Faye.
I love you, Mom. The Giants. They really are all gone. There's nothing for us here.
Come.
So, I get that Mother was a giant, which makes me part giant and part god.
And part mortal.
Right. I guess there's just one thing I don't understand. My name on the wall. The Giants called me... Loki?
Loki. That's the name your mother wanted for you when you were born. She must have called you that to her people.
But why?
A question for another day. Let us go home.